Good evening and welcome to Hot Topics from the Soul. I'm so excited about tonight's show. It's about entrepreneurs, ambitions, and the fuel that drives them. I have my co-host with me.
And good evening, J.R. Thicklin here, and I'm excited about this show tonight. We're at the end, the last Tuesday in the month of April, and I'm telling you, what a way to come out of with this type of excitement with these guests we're going to have on tonight to talk about entrepreneurship. They're not crying the blues in the time of a pandemic. They are soaring the new heights and the challenges that they have encountered, and I'm excited about that. And I know that it's going to bless our audience tonight.
Absolutely. We have Sierra West and Cynthia Cummings that are going to be joining us tonight. And we're going to start with Sierra West. Dr. J, will you introduce her, please?
Absolutely. Well, listen, since the start of the COVID-19 pandemic in the United States of America, listen, Sierra Alita West, who is a medical surgical registered nurse, has worked diligently in the field of healthcare, traveling to provide emergency hospital assistance, providing services to those that are suffering
We're
from
having a
COVID.
lot of feedback, Dr. J. So yeah, we're having a
Are
lot
we?
of feedback. Yeah. So
Okay,
maybe we could just bring on Sierra so we can get a chance to talk with her and then adjust the mic.
absolutely. So, Sierra, come out.
Good evening.
Good
Hi,
evening.
Dr.
How are
Joy. Hi,
you?
Dr. Valerie. I'm fantastic. How are you both this evening?
Doing absolutely great. We're excited.
Yeah, I'm awesome tonight. I'm so excited about you. We have so many young people that are trying to find their way in life, and it seems like you found it. And I'm so excited. I mean, you're a registered nurse, you do modeling, you're an ambassador, and it's just like, tell us about that. I know you're from a single parent, your mom raised you, and usually when you're from a single parent, people like, young people really don't have a drive because everything is given to them. But that's not the case with you.
No, no, not at all. So yes, I am from a single parent household, and one of the things that my mom constantly stressed was that she wanted me to be put in a situation or a outcome where I really wouldn't have to want or need anything or even have to ask for someone else. So at an early age, I was really encouraged to go into anything healthcare. And my mom will tell you, even to this day, I absolutely despised it. I did not want to do healthcare. I did not want to become a nurse. But middle school, I did pre-med, high school pre-med, and then naturally, about time I got to college, it was nursing or medical school. And so that
So
led me here.
along the way, you got a love for it.
Along the way, I found my niche. It took me
Okay.
years to, and it's just being honesty, full transparency is always what I thrive. Um, it took me a while to find my niche. Nursing is hard. You do 12-hour shifts. You're taking care of multiple patients. There's a lot of liability. So once I found my niche, which was years later, and started using my creativity to really bring out the nursing in me, that's when I really started to love nursing.
Let me ask you a question. Now, you wrote a book very early on. I think it's called Nurses Boot Camp. And, was that before you found your niche? Or did that help you find your niche? Or was it the result of your niche?
It did not help me find my niche at all.
Okay.
Life is seriously trial and error. You try it out, you don't like it, you move on to the next. So a nursing boot camp was one of my books that I self-published back in 2016. And I have a love for teaching, I have a love for education, and I have a love to inspire. So that's where I was trying to do in my nursing boot camp. Um, publish Publishing. However, I was still trying to find my place in nursing. So it didn't do too much for me moving on. However, it did give me the experience. So that way, now that I do have my niche, I can write another book.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Now, somewhere along the line, inside of the work that you did, you had this ambition. You always wanted to give back. You talk about inspiring and give back to the community. And how did you end up? I believe you end up being the recipient, the representative, the ambassador with the Black and Natural. And, and how did that help you get your voice out in terms of the things that you wanted to make known?
Yeah, so the Black and Natural that you're talking about is called Miss Black and Natural. It was a beauty pageant that I also did in 2017, where I was the pageant winner and crown holder. And the
Awesome.
ambition, thank you, the ambition that came with that, honestly, goes back way before that. It goes back to childhood. It goes back to really just having a creative insight and working with my family, and they're pushing me on to, do certain things. Like, my grandmother noticed early on that I love to write, hence the book. So I would write poetry and memorize my poetry, and she would push me to go on to the talent shows, um, or just going into the neighborhood, seeing something that I didn't like and speaking out on it. So about time I got to the beauty pageants with Miss Black and Natural, it was easy to really create that whole, from the practice that I already had been experiencing.
Yeah, one of the things I saw, and you're going to have to help me with this. I saw a video clip of you. You were wearing your crown, Miss Black and Natural, and you're at this big event. Of course, this is pre-COVID, and there's all of these people that are there, and all of somehow or another. Now, this now you might can tell us now, but somehow or another you ended up with the mic, and you asked a question, and on the stage was Taraji P Henson and famous people. Now you would think you would just be happy just that they called on you, but then she asked a question that literally stops them. So that moment was interesting to me because of the fact you ask a question, they see who you are. You're this young lady. You're ambitious. You're an author. You kind of laid out your verbal today right there on them. But then you ask a question about, once again, you went back to how you can help other young people. And so that's interesting because, you know, oftentimes when you're young, you're just about trying to get yours. I'm just trying to get me, myself, and I, and all of us. But you still tend to be driven by always trying to help others, and that's an interesting thing, especially when you're young like this. This is the time you're trying to, like I say, you're trying to float your own boat. And but tell us about that moment there, because that was a moment that I thought, from the response of everyone, they realized that what you were talking about wasn't easy, but it took really being selfless and self-sacrifice.
Yeah, I have to give credit to my mom for that. So what you didn't see was my mom was we had this big women's empowerment event in Michigan, Detroit, Michigan. And there were over 200, 300 people there. And my mom, they were doing a question and answer, and my mom literally gets up, runs over to the guy who had the mic, who was passing out the mic, and she's like tapping him, and she's like, over there, give it to her. And my mom's telling me to stand up here, so the guy can see you. So I'm like, oh my gosh, I'm so embarrassed. But I stand up and I'm like, hi, and he's like, and it brings me over the mic. So that was my mom's, super go-getting personality that got me that opportunity to speak to Miss Taraji P.
Wow.
Henson. But the question that I did ask was on how to really get others my age, females and males, to be inspired, by talking to them. And, one of the things that Taraji P. Henson said was that you just have to keep on going, and you're going to see your light, and then they're going to want to be a part of your light. So I thought
Mm,
that was amazing. I thought that was absolutely amazing, that she told us that, all of us, not just me speaking to the crowd. And I have used that moving forward. I have used that. It's not about just myself. That's no fun. I don't want it to be just about myself. I don't want to always be in the limelight. I want to see others win. That's extremely important to me because we all have a story. We all have a story and we're all dealing with something. And I may not be able to relate my story to you in a way that you understand, but maybe my brother can, maybe my cousin can. So it can't just be one story. There's so many different people with so many different things going on in their life, and so that's why I shoot to inspire everyone and get everyone out there.
That's awesome. Now, as a registered nurse, and I know that you've been traveling around, helping people since this COVID pandemic even hit, how has the experience been for you emotionally?
Ooh, wow, thank you so much for that question. Where do I start? When COVID hit, I was a I was a I was a post anesthesia recovery nurse. So people that would come in and they would be under anesthesia, I would wake them up, get them settled. And COVID hit, and it seems like all of us nurses, the world just, and then healthcare professionals in general, our worlds just turned around. I just remember sitting at work and seeing the TV screens with the news flashing that, there's a virus, lives are in danger. And I literally get a call, about 4 days later asking me to travel to Texas to go and help out with the pandemic. And the first time around, I was excited. I'm like, sure, let's go and get it. It's new. We don't really know what's going on, but hey, us nurses, we never really know what's going on until we get there and assess. Um,
Mhm.
but by my second, third, and fourth time, it started to weigh on me. It started to weigh on me emotionally. I noticed by my last deployment in December, when I came back in January, I struggled with PTSD. It was really hard for me to adjust back into the regular lifestyle. When you're on your deployments, just like the military, all you do is work and
Wow.
sleep, work and sleep. And I checked my timesheets. The longest that I had worked, I believe, was 82 hours in 1 week.
Wow.
So we had one day off, and we worked 6 days a week. And so that one day, at first it wasn't enough to kind of, you know, recoup. And then over time, you just work with it. You know that you have to have your other nurses back. You know that the RTs, the respiratory therapists are over there. It becomes a selfless event, a selfless job like none other.
Thank you for sharing that. I
Mhm.
thought it was important to share that, number one, so people can really know what goes on behind the scenes and that it's not over yet, that you nurses and doctors are still working double and triple time because people are still being careless. And not to mention the other illnesses, people are just focusing on the virus, but people have other illnesses that are taking them out because there's not enough um, nurses and doctors in places and positions in order to tend to them properly. The attention is so divided right now. So we need everybody to be on their P's and Q's and stay woke during all of this. This is not the time
Absolutely.
to be slumbering and sleeping and all this stuff going on. It's time to be alert and keep our eyes open. Sierra, I want you to stay in the audience for me in the studio. We're going to bring together over our next guest, and then we'll all come back into, because I know that there's more information that you have to share to empower some individuals. So, Dr. J, that was so enlightening. I'm so inspired by her, because like I said, there's young people that still haven't found their niche, as you would say. They're
Right.
still looking for their purpose. And, I'm going to bring Cynthia Jones Cummings. She's actually my blood sister. So I'm going to bring her into the audience. Hello, Cynthia.
Hello, hello. Excited about this.
How are you?
I am fantastic.
Now, you came from corporate America.
Mm-hmm.
And while you were in corporate America, you had your own business that you started was Mary Kay. People always say, "Oh, you look so great." I'll be 62 this year, and I always tell them, I said my sister was giving me preparations so I could keep flourishing and looking good and stuff like this. So I said my sister hooks me up. So I've been wearing Mary Kay for a while, thanks to you. And then you have another business that you've embarked on. So tell the audience, because a lot of people, when they're trying to make ends meet, they feel stuck because they're like, I don't have the money, or is this going to take a lot of time? What was it like for you, especially being a single parent of two?
What was it like being in corporate America as far as starting another uh, financial venture?
Yes.
Sometimes it felt like this was really it fell into my lap because actually before I became a consultant with Mary Kay, I was already using the products. So I developed a love and a passion for the products initially. So I was on them for 4 years. And when I was introduced to the opportunity, it seemed like to be a no-brainer for me because I loved the difference and the changes that the products made in my skin. And mostly I love the reaction that I got from other people to see the clearing and just the changes. But as far as what was it like, I was able to take the passion that I felt about what I was already doing for my skin and sharing it with other people. So folks would ask about it, they would see the differences and see the changes and just sharing my passion. And a lot of times that's basically where it starts. Once you have an awesome passion about something and you talk about what you're involved in, that passion is what draws the people in and they want to get attached to you. So that's initially um, what it was for me, just that passion and that drive just to share what I already knew.
hmm So here you are in corporate America. You had this Mary Kay gig on the side,
Mhm.
and two kids going to college,
Mm.
and then COVID happens.
Oh my goodness.
So
You
what
know
happened
something?
next?
You know something? The good and the blessing that I got was that I was already involved in Mary Kay. And it just worked out perfectly for me. What happened next for me is I lost my job due to COVID. I lost that corporate position due to COVID, and something else fell into my lap, which was the company Mirror. And it just was happenstance for me because someone who I had met who knew my work ethics. It was a brand new company just starting out and they wanted someone to just help them show it. And they knew that I was passionate about Mary Kay and said, you know, something you could just show some more passion about this product. So Mary is a company that is, it is a hair company. It is a single donor, 100% human hair. And the difference between our company and others is that each bundle is from one person. So that makes all the difference in the world. The interesting thing is the hair follicles. We don't even know that our hair follicles fall a certain way. But when you look at our bundles in comparison to others, you'll see that the hair follicles fall in the same direction. And that's what makes it so unique. And you can tell it all comes from one person. But that drive with Marinator and Mary Kay really set me to a point where my kids still saw food on the stove every day. They still had all the bills were paid and paid on time. It's I give grace to our Heavenly Father for that because when all those the things that you take for granted,
We
uh,
all take for granted.
yes, when it comes to a point where you lose what your life you think it's your livelihood and you're like, hey, wait a minute, I got this, and you just dive right into it and it works and everything still flows. The day everything just kept flowing, and it was a blessing for me.
We were talking with Sierra earlier, who's coming back with us shortly, and she was telling us about the different tracks and the things that she was doing, and she's a young adult, and you're a lot older, and
Oh,
you,
be
like I
careful
said,
now.
well, you're older than she is. I'm still older than you, so so you're safe. So there's individuals that are sitting out there that said, it's just, I don't know what I can do. I mean, I'm too old to start a business. How can I connect with people? We're in a pandemic. I can't get into sales. I can't do any marketing and things. What would you say to motivate and inspire someone to, get up and go? Because I believe that a lot of people are depressed because they feel that their usefulness has expired. And but you just kept on going, kept on thriving. What would you say to motivate?
You have to stay positive. A lot of times we can't find the positiveness in ourselves, but linking onto a show like you guys, Dr. Thicklin, my sister Dr. Val, these type of platforms help to fuel what we thought was dormant within ourselves, and it helps to pick you up, and you think about some of the little things that you have already had encapsulated in you. You just need a
Mhm.
little bit of water to like fuel that fire, that little bit of whatever it takes, just to say, hey, wait a second, I know how to do this. I know someone actually who was crocheting just for, yeah, just as a way of killing time. And
Yeah.
guess what? Now she's on Instagram. The person is killing it with sales. Listen, I bought hat, scarf. She's crocheting for babies. She's crocheting. She's doing the thousands of orders on a regular basis.
Wow.
You just listen to someone else's story, it will help inspire you. Even if you pick up a book and just read a page of that book will inspire you. You hear something else that someone's doing. Someone will hear Sierra's story is amazing. Just a little bit of something will just help fuel whatever that little tidbit that's in you, and just you'll blossom for it. So just try stepping out of your comfort zone, and just give it a little try, and you'll see that there's some amazing skill set within each and every one of us. We just need to let it shine, let it blossom, and step right into who we really are.
Cynthia, to listen to you, one would say that you sound fearless, you sound confident, you sound sure, and all of that would be true. But the thing about it is that there was a degree of resilience that you had as well, because of the fact that you didn't necessarily give in to it. I mean, for many people that lost their jobs or lost their positions during COVID-19 at the beginning, especially, they were crushed, didn't know what they would do. And not saying that you didn't, but it's interesting that you had tapped into a passion about something that you already did well, that you believed in, and you were able to not only expand upon that, but you were prepared with the skill set that when this other opportunity came, you hit the ground running inside of that. And so many times we often say, I know Dr. Val and I say that sometimes when things happen to us, it's not even for us. It's really for people that will come along afterwards
Yes.
that will hear our story. And so
Mhm,
when I look at your
mhm,
story and I hear
mhm.
what you've done, well, first of all, although you and your sister going back and forth about who's older and all this stuff, you both look beautiful. So for all those that think that I can't kick it into gear, at a certain age, I mean, you've already disproven that you can definitely do so. But my question to you is this: what would you say to those that even right now, we're a year into this pandemic, and there's some people who kind of chill, they kind of chill. We're going to take this chill break. But what would you say to them about getting up out of that couch now and get
Ooh,
out there and doing it? Find that thing that worked. The name of the show tonight is about ambition, the fuel that drives dream. But we also know that adversity also can
mhm,
help drive dreams. And we
mhm,
also know that necessity can do so. And so
mhm.
how would you say that how do you bridge those gaps between I had ambition, but it was also adversity that kind of pushed me out there. How do you bridge that gap? And what do you say to the people who may look at adversity as being something that is negative?
Adversity as negativity.
Mhm,
Ooh, you know something? I have to give praise to our parents, where
mhm,
Valerie and I grew up in a household where, if we were told, if you fall, if you get knocked down, pick yourself up, dust yourself off, and keep going.
mhm.
Just keep going. So the person on the couch, you just have really a matter of time. You got to think of where that next meal's coming from. You got to think of what you're going to do next. If you're at a certain age, I'm not ashamed to say I'm in my late 50s. We don't have a whole lot of time to just sit on the couch and let things happen. You have to make things happen. Think about where your next meal is going to come from. Think about where you want to be in 5 years. We've heard that for forever, where you want to be in 5 years. You need to think about where you want to be in a week from now,
Okay,
days
really.
from now, in another hour. You got to keep it going, but encourage it. We've read that in the Bible. We've heard that being preached to us. We've heard that on TV shows. Okay, you have to be able to encourage yourself. If you can't do it yourself, you got to ask somebody to remind you to keep doing what's necessary to make yourself get up and go. Find accountability partner.
Yeah,
Those things are phenomenal. That's somebody who is actually going to say, okay, Cynthia, yeah, you're tired. You got all the rest. That was yesterday. Now today, you got to get up at 5 o'clock. I want to know what you did. A, B, C, D. Share it with me.
Right.
And then share it with somebody else. A lot of times, the things that we go through not in life, I think, Dr. Thicklin, you said this, or Sierra, I think, may have said this. What we go through in life is not necessarily for us. We go through it because there's going to be an experience and a lesson and wisdom for someone else. That's what the folks in the Bible went through. They didn't go through those things strictly for them. It's for us to pick up that book and read what they've gone through, how they've experienced it, what they did to get through. And guess what? Look at where they ended up. Through
Mm.
prayer, through trust, through confidence, through encouraging one another, through just saying, I'm going to get it done. And that's what happens. And put your passion into it. Talk about what you love to do. Let it
yeah,
all out. And it is attractive, and you'll get done what you need to get done. And just don't stop. You're going to fall. You're going to trip up. It's okay. Keep it
yes.
going.
Tell that's my sister, right?
I'm about to say, okay, now it makes sense. But that was so powerful because I love, see, that's the part that is so real, that when you don't prepare people for, you don't tell people like, well, it's just going to be easy. No, there's going to be some stumbling blocks, there's going to be some mistakes that are made, and sometimes we're still finding out, we're discovering things that we like to do. And even as Sierra has come back with us and saying she's a nurse, she's been doing nursing and all those things, serving people, but there was something else inside of her. And hold it, I'm sitting here saying to her, I say, yeah, when we're young, boy, we can do that. Let's try this. Let's try that. Let's try the other. And she goes from nursing to opening up in her entrepreneurial spirit. Listen, a whole different shop. She's got to tell us about it. I'm from the old day. You guys remember the show Ripley's, Believe It or Not, kind of that science factor. Well, Sierra's opened up a shop. It's an online shop. And Sierra, you have to give us a name of it. But it is so, you would never think this could be a part of an ambition for a person. And that's what's so beautiful about life. Adversity, all those things there. Sometimes we discover uniqueness about ourselves in the midst of it. So, Sierra, welcome back. But tell us a little bit about you have an online boutique there, and I actually have visited it. I didn't understand it, but I did visit it.
Yeah, so I have a shop called Land of Odds, ODDS, and it's really just a way to sell fun, weird, thought-provoking science gadgets to get you into the health science, to get you interested in animal science, to get you into geography. So I sell animal skeletons, starfish, you name it, anything that's weird, old medical vintage instruments. I have doctors that reach out all the time about my antique instruments. I have a microscope from 1932
Wow.
that a doctor has been working with me to ship it to him. So it's just about striking curiosity. I think curiosity is also what inspires. So we have to, we're talking about ambition and we're talking about inspiration. We really have to learn to go out and see the world, push
Hmm.
yourself out there and see what it is, what's out there. Then you start getting more curious. Then you start seeing what you're passionate about. Then you get your ambition. So
Yeah,
that's just
it,
one of the ones I.
it's funny. You said we said it before the show came live, and was talking about the fact of how you tend to be adaptable. That's the thing I think that both of you have really brought out, that we have to learn to be adaptable and be flexible inside of what we do.
Mhm.
Sierra, it wasn't enough that you stopped there, but then you've taken on this whole different alias with your other part of your entrepreneurial, this whole jungle Barbie person, whoever she is. And and inside of that, you're doing modeling, you're doing creative director, you're doing all these things. So tell us about that, because once again, Cynthia and Dr. Val and I, we're all kind of part of that same, if you would, age group inside of that. So, we have a little Stevie Wonder going on right now. We wish those days could come back once more, but we're hearing you, and particularly we think that you're speaking to an audience of young people who are stuck. I see it every day. I see young people get stuck because guess what? For some of them, they get stuck right after high school. Well, so all of a sudden there's no bells to tell them where to go next. All of a sudden, there's no thing, and all of a sudden,
Yeah.
what do I do? What do I do with life?
Mhm.
And yet, it's still you have been the epitome that you take life by the horn and you live life, and you understand that you don't have to be in a corner. You don't have to be put in a box. So tell us how you kind of transition, and you're still doing the whole jungle Barbie. That's a whole conglomerate of things that you're doing there. And tell us a little bit about that.
Yeah, yeah. Thank you, Dr. J. I really appreciate it, the compliments. But I would be doing such an injustice to myself and to others if I didn't talk about the trials that came with this. So a lot of people are seeing the results, but this has been trial and error for years, like we talked about the book earlier. I feel like that was one of my trials and errors, if I can be honest. Land of Odds was my second business venture, which has done much better. And then I launched Jungle Book Barbie, which was really a way for me to not only do the modeling and stuff, that's okay, but I really wanted to get into the community. I really wanted to start networking and shine light on entrepreneurs that are my age as well. And so I formed under Jungle Book Barbie almost a light and fun, flirty version of like a news station. We got the equipment, we're going out, we're interviewing entrepreneurs, we got a blog about it, and we're really just trying to create something fun. But honestly, the ambition, the everything that I have done thus far has really been trial and error, has really been struggle. Um, I was homeless at one point, my last year of nursing school. I was married. I eloped and then I got divorced. So, there's a multitude of things that has happened to get me in this situation. And to be honest, I'm just now finding my passion, my niche, and my purpose. And that's all straight God who has literally guided me.
The great thing
Wow.
is that you didn't give up. You didn't stop in the midst of adversities, and that's one of the things I wanted to show, young or old. We got to keep moving. We can't afford to
Absolutely.
stop. We can't afford to be dormant. We have to keep it moving because somebody's relying on us to get to where we need to get to. And it's not about us. It's never all about us, but it's what God wants to do through us. So it's imperative to each one of us to live our best life and live it fully.
Wow.
Absolutely. And if
Wow.
I can add, There's four things that I always live by, four values. And one of those is your mental health, because that's important. If you're not mentally healthy, you can't get anything done. The second is financial literacy. You all have to pick up a book. You have to learn about credit. You have to get your credit going. You have to have a
Absolutely.
savings account. Those are things that are really going to help you with your business. The third thing is spirituality. Or excuse me, the fourth thing is spirituality. And I think no matter who your God is, who your higher purpose is, you need to find something that, or a higher power that's really going to keep you spiritually in tune, because it does get hard. And family, mom, dad, is not always going to be around. So you need to make sure that when nobody else is around, when friends aren't around, you got something, some higher power that you can call on, and they're
Yes.
going to pick you up. Because you're going to need to be picked up a few times before you get it together, all the way together.
Uh-huh. Yeah.
Yeah. What wisdoms do you have for them, Cynthia? And you can give individuals your contact information as well.
Yes, absolutely. One of the things that really attracted me to Mary Kay when I first started was the fact that they promoted God first, family second, and then put your career third. And it was great because Mary Kay herself taught that if you go out of that order, your life is basically out of order. Always God first, your family second, and then anything else, your career has to take third place. And I've actually made sure I lived by that in every area, trying to always make sure my I talk to the father and make sure I'm doing my studying, and then my kids are always next. And sometimes you get worn out also, but trying to keep that balance and trying to keep your head straight. And again, I agree with Sierra about the credit. Those things are crucial. Having your whole life insurance is really imperative. I think we need to really, at a young age, try to get the whole life, but just try to make sure you're secured and have your credit is ultimate. And then you know take care of your career and so forth. But those are really, really key things. And I'm glad, Sierra, you brought those things up. It's really crucial that we have to do those things. So, yeah.
So, what would you say to individuals they say that are listening in and say, "Oh no, there they go. They talking about credit. My credit is shot. How can I move on now? I guess that counts me out."
You have to get that credit repair. Suck it up. You just make some of those phone calls. Yes, sometimes it can be embarrassing. You don't want to face the fire. You don't want to be humiliated. You don't want to look at it. You know it's bad. You just don't want to see it in your face. But you have to face it. You have to take those steps and get it corrected. The longer you wait, the longer you prolong having bad credit. So just take those steps. It may not be as bad as you think it is, but there are so many different credit repair opportunities out there. And basically, you could try to do it yourself. Pay your bills on time. Know what you can and cannot afford to do. Stop being impulsive shoppers. I mean, since this COVID, you guys know this. We've got how many boxes you all get on a daily or a weekly basis. It's a lot
Alex
of
has
fun.
Alex has beat me now. He
Ah,
orders more than I do.
it's a lot of fun having those thoughts. You open up your front door and you see those packages at the door. We all love it. But there's a price to pay for that. Find out what is in your bank. Look at what's in your bank account. Look at how much you can spend. And this also, is it necessary? Do you really, really need to have it? I've had to say that to myself. I said it to myself this morning. Do I really need this overnight bag from QVC? Doggone, that thing looks beautiful. But did I really need it? Mm-mm. So you have to really, be honest with yourself. Focus on that credit. It's something that's just not going to go away. it is what it is. We have to tackle that.
Well,
Uh,
one of the things I'd like to add too to that is that you're always your greatest resource. You have everything in you that you need to get to the next level. There are some of you listening in that may not have the finances right now to do what you envision yourself doing. However, there are things you can do with your hands. There's some of you that know how to cut lawn. There's some of you know how to do hair. Some of you can do Mary Kay. You can reach out to Cynthia at cdjcummings at yahoo.com.
mhm.
Email her and she'll tell you how to get into that. And then some of you, you have the ability to do, even though your finances are shot out, you have the ability to work numbers, to do help with financing, and speak on Facebook, do Facebook Live classes on how to do things. Some of you can speak so eloquently and knowing how to direct people to do what they need to do to get it together. I knew somebody like that, but they knew how to get people to rally to live their best life. So there's things that you can do. You're gifted to do so many things. Don't give up on life. Don't give up on you.
Wow. When I listen to that, I have to admit, in this time, it is such a time to get focused because it is so easy to slide off that scale. You guys talk about credit, you talk about people entertain themselves. Might not can go anywhere, but we can get online, we can order. Amazon has become some of our best friends over the last year. I mean, I was always a big Amazon guy, but I found myself getting caught up with online this and that. And the crazy thing, I looked around and I had 15 new shirts, very quality shirts. I had ordered all during the pandemic. Where was I wearing them to? 15, and I was just, it was like, and I'm a man. 10 pair of shoes. Pandemic.
I just took back $178 worth of shoes. They were like four pair of shoes. They was like they had these fire sales at Macy's, and I was like, woo. And then when I got a reality check, I'm like, where am I wearing these to? I took them back. Alex
That's
is like,
right.
take it back, something else. I'm like, yeah, because I don't need it.
Uh-huh.
There's stuff that's hanging in your closet that you haven't, your time for return, it hasn't expired. Take them back and pay your bills.
Exactly. I think that has to happen. Now, Sierra, I see you shaking your head, and from what I know about you, you seem to be a very resourceful young person, and I mean that's a class all by itself. Resourceful young person. That almost sound like an oxymoron in most cases. There, it's not of a. But what is your take on that? You seem like, because you've traveled, you've lived different places. You make decisions. It's obvious that you like the finer things of life, and yet it's still you manage to hold it all together. Anything that you can share that make it help.
Oh man, I think with the financial literacy, Dr. J, you just have to be organized. If you're not organized right now, you get you a planner and learn how to become organized. And that's really going to help you with any of your endeavors. You have to have that planner by your side at all times. I start my day without my planner. I can't, if it's not on my planner, I don't know. If my planner is missing, I don't know. I don't even know my name when the planner is gone. I'm like, I don't know anything. And yeah, you figure out what works for you with what doesn't work. Pulling up your organizing your finances, you realize how many subscriptions you have. You realize, how much you spend on eating out. So yeah, you become more resourceful. I'll tell you, since I moved down here to Miami, oh, I'm real resourceful now. This is the most expensive place that I had to live in, and I'm like, who knew I was a top-notch chef? Okay, I sprinkle some salt over here, throw some basil over here, and make it work. Because eating out, yeah, I'll do it when I have to, but I can't do it every day. So you learn to just work with what you got and make it fun, make it exciting. There's YouTube University, there's Google University, there's Facebook University. Instagram University. There's so many different universities that you can get a diploma in, that you can just go and get certified to do something. And I'm saying that word certified, but you know what I mean, just to research on your own. You know, there's tons of people that are doing something resourceful. And so if you need ideas, if you need encouragement, if you need motivation, YouTube, Instagram, it's all of these different avenues. We're in the era of social media, so we have to use it to our advantage.
Mhm.
Wow.
I
Wow.
agree with Sierra. YouTube has become my best friend.
I'm trying to tell you,
If
Miss
I need
Cynthia,
to find
listen.
anything, I can find it on YouTube. But also writing down at night before you go to bed or first thing in the morning your six most important things to do for the day, and trying to knock those off. Those are also crucial to help you keep you on path.
Wow.
Absolutely.
Now, ladies, I have to tell you this. And here's a guy who loved motivating people, who loved doing those type things. But your nuggets that you're sharing tonight are so practical. They are. People really, people oftentimes talk themselves out of progress and they talk themselves out of success. They talk themselves out of it because they envision something being so rigorous that that I will never be able to do that. But everything that you all have said has been very practical. I'm sitting here saying, okay, Sierra's talking about a planner, a journal, right? And yet it's still in this same time, people so high tech they got to go on the computer. There is something about being able to feel that planner. It's something about being able to open up that planner. It's something
Oh
about being able
wow.
to look at it and write it down that makes it personal. It connects, and you feel the sense of obligation with it. And Cynthia, you talked about those things that you
Yeah.
should do at night or first thing in the morning. Write down those 5 or 6 things that you know that I need to get done today. That helps organize our life. It
Mhm.
helps us be able to stay focused and eliminate so many distractions because sometimes for some people it only take a win and they're gone that way and a win they're gone that way, and at the end of the day they feel unfulfilled because they didn't feel anything. So these are very practical things that we can do, and these are actually the ideas, these are the habits, are these are the principles and core values that produce successful individuals. And entrepreneurship, you don't just fall into it. Even if you fall into it, you have to learn the nuances of it. You have to learn, how do I sustain it? How do I keep it going? And the things that you offer tonight, ladies, have been absolutely right on the money. And matter of fact, I hope that everyone that's listening can breathe a sigh of relief because what you all have done, you've been both transparent, you talk about the tough time, but you also talk about the process. It is that process there. So when we read that book, when we read those things, when we go to YouTube, this is from some people who have gone through the process, who have experienced these things, and they're able now to tell us about it. So I'm going to say kudos to both of you inside of what you're saying. I'm even going to go and get some retail therapy. No, not going out and shop, but some counseling from shopping too much online. Okay.
I'll be praying for you.
Thank you very much.
For you, my
See,
brother.
I just broke the sexist and the gender barrier right there because they always say retail therapy is a thing that women do. But you know what? Sometimes we guys, if we be honest, some of us might find ourselves doing that. It gets very quiet at my house, me, myself, and I. And so, every now and then when I do have some downtime, there go the right ad at the right time. Hey, Dr. Val, I got mine from Macy's too. All 6 pair of the last year. But anyway, that's a whole other thing. And so I find myself going, and next thing you know, you're going, all this stuff coming to your house, being delivered, and you sit there and go, why did I get that? I didn't need that. Why
Mhm.
did I buy that? But after the day, tonight, thank you, I have been delivered.
I'm
And
glad.
you know what? And I have, things were rough with me financially for a while, especially after the divorce and raising 4 kids. And I had to watch every penny, watch every dime, because I needed to make sure that I had enough to be able to support my children. So there were times where they may not even know, but there were times that I didn't eat. And if I did, I got a little spoonful of something, but I made sure that they ate. And sometimes I wouldn't eat so that the next day will be enough for leftovers so that they can eat the second day. But it was very hard. So, you know, tough times don't last, but people that are strong and resilient, you last. And I promise you that whatever you may be going through right now, you are just growing through it. Because if you put your foot in front of the other and keep pressing forward, you will reach the goal that you envision for yourself financially, emotionally, and mentally. Everybody goes through hard times, everybody trips, and everybody at one point or another has fell down, rather in a schoolyard or in relationships. You fell down, but guess what? You picked yourself up and you dust yourself off. That's how life is from here until God calls you home. Just keep getting up and dusting yourself off and keep moving. I promise you, victory will be coming. And Sierra, I thank you so much for empowering so many people tonight, listening to you and saying, this is what I've accomplished, but I've also served. I've served mankind, and I still had enough left for me. And some people feel that when they dedicated their lives to a job, that there's nothing left for them to do, but there is always more. And I thank you, Cynthia, for also, the perseverance, leaving corporate America and having to rebuild and start over. You didn't just stand there and get stuck. You got up and kept moving. So thank you for calling, uh, for those both versions, young and old, letting people know, regardless of the age, regardless of the circumstance. And Dr. J, you too, in that same situation. Basically, you're rebooting,
Absolutely.
regrouping. You've got a job, but you're trying to, grow and empower other
Absolutely.
lives. You've been doing it for years. You have your nonprofit. Uh,
Yes.
so Destiny by Choice, you've been doing it for years. How old is Destiny by Choice, by the way?
By the way, it's 21 years old this year.
Wow.
21 years old. And the
20
best is yet to
years.
come as we're launching to do other greater things. And that's what we're excited about because we are progressing, we are reinventing ourselves, but we're
Every
remaining
day.
relevant. We're remaining relevant for where we're going, not for where we've been. Where we've been was part of the chapter to get us to where we're going. But the thing I love about it, and I heard from both Cynthia and Sierra tonight, you hear about the fact of it's a launching pad. You launch from where
Yes.
you are. You don't sit there and hold on to the launching pad and say, well, I'm not going anywhere. No, I've always believed this and I've always preached this. I believe where God is calling us to is always greater than where he's calling us from. So
Yes.
I
Yes.
can't be so in love with where I come from that I cannot reach out and embrace where I'm being called to.
Oh, yeah.
And that's why I'm excited about it. And hearing these type of testimonials, man, it's nothing but fuel to the fire. You better watch out, fire department, because I'm telling you, we're on fire tonight.
Yes, indeed. Sarah, any closing remarks? And if you would say your contact information, your email address where individuals can contact you.
Yeah, thank you, Dr. Val. Uh, Closing remarks, honestly, just go for it. Stay consistent. You're going to have hard times. You push through it, it's going to get easier. And what other people feel about you is not your business. You keep going, you keep going, you fall, and you keep going again. That's what I want to absolutely live off with. You can find me on Facebook at Sierra Alida West, Alida. You can find me on Instagram where I love to have fun at Jungle Book Barbie. You can you can go to my website at www.junglebookbarbie.com and just say hello to me. Land of Odds, Curiosity Shop, shopcuriosity.com is where you can find my stores. But just follow me on Instagram and you'll find all of that. We have fun. We have fun from YouTube and all.
Indeed. Cynthia.
Okay. So you could find me on marykay.com. That's marykay.com/C Cummings. I would love, love, love to introduce you to our products. give you a private consultation and customized skincare specifically for your hair, your skin type. And it's for hair, mirrornature.com/C Cummings. I'll give you also a private consultation on what you need and what you desire and what looks best for your hair. So I take care of the total beauty look. So I would love, love, love to just experience that with you and help you along the way. So I'm also on Facebook, Cynthia Jones Cummings. And again, my email is cdjcummings@yahoo.
Wow.
Indeed. And yes, you can follow them both, like they said, on Instagram, Facebook. I don't know how to do Snapchat. I think it is.
That's a
I don't think they allow us on Snapchat. I don't know.
I don't
At
know
least
what
that's what
that
my
is.
kids told me.
I hear they got something called TikTok.
Yeah.
TikTok. Yes.
Oh,
Don't say
I do
Snapchat no
enjoy
more.
I do enjoy TikTok.
Do they allow us on TikTok? Because my
Oh,
kids told me when Snapchat was popular, and I said, well, I'm out get a Snapchat account. They all in unison says no. I'm like, why? You're not allowed to be on it. So I didn't know. I thought it was an age
listen,
restriction.
there is no age restriction for
No.
TikTok. Some of the people that I follow that are the most hilarious are older women and older men. And I tell you right now, they are running the show with TikTok because they are finding their ambition back. They are finding their passions and they're using TikTok as a platform. So,
It's
another
hilarious.
inspirational tool. Yes.
That's awesome. You know, there's never a shortage of money. There's only a shortage of ideas. Money is always there. You know, Les Brown always said, you know, and it's been in every school board, classroom, school is like shoot for the moon. Because even if you miss, you'll land amongst the stars. And I used to read that and I was like, what does he mean by that? It means that whatever you do it and do it to the best of your ability because even the best is going to splatter across and touch and inspire somebody's life. So shoot for it, you know, because even if you miss, you see those stars in the sky, you'll be part of those skies. Somebody in that star, one of those stars know your name. So shoot for it.
Wow.
Amen.
Amen.
That is so, it's always been so powerful. Thank you all for joining in tonight for another Hot Topics from the Soul. You can follow me on www.fromthesoulofAwoman.com. And I encourage you all that are tuned in and listening in, be a part of my YouTube. Just subscribe to my YouTube channel so you can stay connected. And I'm also on blog. And those of you who follow me on LinkedIn, of course, you know, you just like it and follow me. But remember that no matter how defeated you may feel, that it's only the beginning for greater things. Your best is still to come. Good night and God bless.
God bless.